Happy Friday, everyone. And in this video, I'm going to be introducing you to a project we call Captain Hook. Now, Captain Hook is an open source project that we are launching for all of you to take benefit of. So, if Captain Hook is basically a guardrail framework for Cloud Code and Cloud Agent SDK. Now, what does that mean? Because guardrails means a lot of things to a lot of people. This is not a sandboxing framework. This is more a guardrail framework where it can prevent certain types of actions from happening when your Cloud Code is running in, or Cloud Code or Cloud Agent SDK is running in any environment, right? For instance, what happens, and let me tell you some of the issues that you have or you might face when you deal with Cloud Code or Cloud Agent SDK or any other type of coding harness that you might use. Coding harnesses by default tend to have access to the file system, tend to have access to the operating system, tend to be able to run commands. Obviously, they need to code, so they need to have access to all of these things. Now, even though you might put the agent inside a sandbox or a separate VM or a separate Docker container or whatever it still might have pretty elevated access. And if it's vulnerable to prompt injection, or if there's some other type of scenario that is created where it starts accessing certain files, deleting certain things it's not supposed to delete, accessing certain web paths that it's not supposed to access, it still does it because there's no real guardrail to prevent that sort of stuff. Now, one of the things that all of these different agent frameworks provide is the ability to create hooks. Now, hooks are ways where you can add specific events that are triggered when an agent is about to or after it does something. So, when an agent is about to call a tool, you can invoke a hook. Or once the agent has called a tool, you can invoke a hook and things like that, right? This is a very effective way of adding some kind of checks and balances to your agent, because your agent is able to figure out that in a much more meaningful way, and it's able to run that command. And if that command is blocked, then the agent does not allow that to run. Or if that particular type of command is not supposed to be run, then the agent can block that. So that is really what hooks do, and that's a guardrail capability that you can create for your agents, in this case specifically Cloud Agent and Cloud Code. But the problem with hooks, you have to configure them, you have to understand how to set it up, you might have to set up multiple shell scripts. It's a pain to do. It's a management overhead that you could do without, which is why we created Captain Hook, and we use this internally ourselves to harden our agents with additional guardrails. So Captain Hook is basically YAML, right? The cool thing with Captain Hook is that you write YAML to set up rules that you want to set up. So as you can see on screen here, you have a whole bunch of rules for Captain Hook. So you can have it deny or accept or allow. So you'll see allow or deny decisions. You can see that allow, there are denied decisions on writing to certain paths, denied decisions on reading from certain types of paths. There is also network access rules. Remember, your agents can also access websites, external APIs, and so on. So web fetch APIs are also, we've added capability to either allow list or deny list web fetch APIs, and MCP servers. This is really cool because you can potentially have MCP servers that are malicious or you don't know anything about. You can essentially deny by patterns through regex patterns different types of calls to different types of MCP servers. And you can also, it also does a little bit of prompt injection patterns. It tries to validate certain types of bash calls. So you'll see that it has the ability for you to declare different types of signatures and different types of things that you want to allow or disallow in your agent. And that's one of the cool things with Captain Hook. It's very simple. And Captain Hook can be used with Cloud Code, or it can be used with Cloud Code's agent framework, Cloud Agent SDK, which is what I'm going to be showing you very soon. So here we have our agent that we have set up. And of course, you can use this with Cloud Code. It's a CLI that comes packaged. Here I have an agent that I've written, which is Cloud Agent SDK. This is basically going to simulate a bunch of actions that it's going to try and do. And we're going to try and see if it blocks it, right? So that's basically what this is going to do. So let me walk you through what this is going to do. This is going to try and read a file, write a file. It is going to try and perform a legitimate action, which is ls, and then it's going to try and delete directory somewhere. It's going to try and fetch this, which should be allowed. It's going to try and delete this. It should be fetching this, which should be blocked. and then it's going to try and delete an MCP. Using MCP, it's going to try and delete an entity which should be blocked, right? So you'll see that all of those things are going to happen now. And when I run this, UV run examples agent SDK test, you should see that it produces that. Based on the rules that we have set up here in the YAML file, this basically points to that rule and it creates hooks based on that rule. And you will see that the allow and deny decisions show up here. This has been really powerful for us as a team simply because we've been able to get deterministic results on agents, which are typically something that you can't make deterministic just by using AI. So we've used rules and reduced the probabilistic nature. So you'll see that it's blocked the certain type of RMRF call. It's blocked. So it's tried to fetch this website. The first website was allowed, which is jasonplaceholder.typicode.com. This was allowed as per policy, but as per policy, any other web fetch was denied. So this is denied it. As well as you'll see that MCPs, it was able to use certain MCP tools, but it tried to delete an entity which was also in the same MCP server, but because we had a delete pattern deny list, it was not able to do that. So you will see that this is very powerful simply because you can set this up for your developer's machine when they're using Cloud Code, or you can set this up for your agents that are using Cloud Agent SDK, which makes life a lot easier because you can stop certain bad things from happening. It's not a substitute for other types of guardrails, or it's not a substitute for your sandbox, but it definitely helps you achieve a lot better security assurance when it comes to dealing with these agent frameworks.